Hey Libra, Ali from Indigo Ascension. Welcome to your weekly quick read for the week beginning October the 4th. How is your birthday season going? It's actually one that I'm using for all of the zodiac signs for a look into the astrology energy this week. I wanted to simplify things. Now, one, there's been quite a lot of energy happening within your zodiac sign. So all of these planetary placements, we're 7 planets in retrograde. There's quite a lot going on there. There's a lot of solar activity happening. And of course, all this energy happening in Libra is affecting each zodiac differently. So I wanted to focus not just on this new moon in Scorpio we're having this week, which subsequently Libra, it lights up your second house, your house of finances and money and resources and resourcefulness. I also wanted to focus obviously on all of the energy that's happening within your zodiac sign. And for you uniquely, of course, that falls in your first house, which is all about you. Now, back to this new moon energy. Now, I want you to rewind the clock a couple of weeks ago when Venus moved into Scorpio, and pretty much Venus came in and sparked a flame under all of us and said, you know, what do you think about this? Or what are you going to do about this? And it was starting to light up your second house. So perhaps, you know, when I'm dealing with second house stuff, it means my resources, my income, my finances, my ability to be resourceful for self. And maybe for many Librans out there, it could be like, is there another way to make money? How can I make more money for self? Well, let's look at this thing that I call my resourcefulness, okay? And then 2 weeks have passed since then, since Venus sort of activated in your second house. So we now have a new moon. Many Librans will be noticing a desire to turn over a new leaf in some way. Maybe a project has progressed. Maybe this thing that activated 2 weeks ago for you has created, you know, this story that you're perhaps now in reflection mode, or have some clarity around where you want this new, you know, this new moon to sort of take you. There's going to be at least a desire to introduce this next level, okay, this next installment of that story. For many of you, that could mean noticing that there's new opportunities to make money, or to be resourceful, or to learn something about that area of your life, or at least increase it so that you experience the higher octaves of that area of your life, all right? When I'm dealing with first house energy, of course, that is all about me. There is an old you and a new you when it comes to second house matters. All month, you've been focused on this new version of self. You've been focused on what is going to satisfy me? What do I want to do? What is going to sustain the life force within me? What inspires me? What beliefs do I have, you know, all month while the sun is in your sign? But it's not, this is no different. This is not like any other birthday though. I'd have to actually look at the astrological placements, but because you've got not just the sun in your sign, Libra, but you've got quite a lot of other planets here too. In more ways than one, many Librans I'm connecting is very self-focused, okay? And maybe that experience is emotionally and mentally draining, or taking you too deep, okay? Or you're sort of not wanting to go too deep or focus too much. Maybe there are some Librans out there a little bit sick of themselves, whatever the case may be, you know, like, but there might also be some others that are very inspired about, you know what about this next version of myself? What about this next level of myself, okay? And there's a very distinct thing that happens when I'm dealing with second and first house energies is, you know, what is resourceful to me is not just about money. Like, what is of use to me? Like, you know, do I take this on board and overthink it and then let it weigh me down? Do I take this on board and let it become my emotional burden when it doesn't need to be? You know, how can I be resourceful for self? Can be applied in more ways than just money. Maybe there's many Librans that I'm connecting into that are feeling more empowered in themselves, and they're discovering this new version of themselves, which has been happening all month with all of these planets, not just the sun in your sign, where you're really self-focused and asking self, does this, you know, provide a sense of resourcefulness, usefulness? Does it fuel me? Does it nurture me even? You know, does it top up my piggy bank? Is it worth my investment, my time, my mental energy, my emotional energy? There's very big energies that are happening like that when I'm looking at second house and first house matters. And yes, of course, it's going to also point to practical matters. There are Librans out there that are really focused on the money side of things. your unique gift, story, ability, what you bring to the table, what you want to create for yourself, okay, and build for yourself. And this version of you is going to be very different to the one, you know, that started this year or that celebrated last year's birthday, okay? So it's going to be different for every Libran out there. Alrighty, my friend, the Two of Cups, there's a powerful new beginning here. The King of Coins and the Wheel of Fortune. For many of you guys, you are experiencing amazing new beginning, okay? When it comes to success, business, financial or otherwise, there are changes here. The Wheel of Fortune sits and swings in your favor, Libra. And you just know in yourself there is a new beginning here. The Two of Cups, yes, it does traditionally represent a new relationship. It could certainly symbolize a new relationship you have with yourself, which is what I love the Two of Cups to represent the most. This is the relationship we have with self. Unless I'm emotionally satisfied with who I am and where I'm going and where my life is taking me, then that's when I know I can then go and meet someone equally halfway, yeah? There's something here about feeling successful, feeling in control, or at least maybe what sparked 2 weeks ago was like, you know what, I want to be the captain of my own ship here. I want to sort of steer this in the direction I see it going in, whether it is in career matters, business matters. There are changes here that ultimately, you know, in these same areas that ultimately create amazing new beginnings for many of you. As I said to the other zodiacs, I can't remember if I said it in my spiel to you. What I wanted to do with the tarot this week is look at like an as above, so below kind of reading style. I'm simply using 2 different tarots, and the second tarot is this beautiful, cute little deck called the Journey Tarot. Quite contemporary, but I just love the artist's interpretation of these traditional tarot cards. Alrighty, so as far that's you now, okay? Very empowering, very holistic as far as being very strongly aware of this new chapter I'm wanting to take my life in, the direction I want to take. As you know, as without the situations that perhaps surround you. And the reason I'm doing this reading style is because, you know, 7 planets in retrograde, sometimes we're not going to know the full karmic balancing of that until the end of this year, until next year, whatever the case may be. So there's bigger transits at play. So before we can do all this deep inner stuff, it's probably because of outer stuff that happens. That's why we work with the mirror, yeah? There's a Tower card here. All right, maybe for many Librans, there were Tower moments, unexpected changes, circumstances. This is more so the distant past is what I'm feeling here. Something had to shock you to awaken you, okay? The Tower moments of your life. You could probably think of certain situations. This could be more symbolic of those other, you know, situations that sort of have awakened you. Or even if, you know, for empaths that are on the awakening journey, this was your awakening in many ways. That really helped you define what true emotional satisfaction and wish fulfillment looks like. You've got the 9 and 10 of Cups here. Very, very ironic to see the Tower right next to these 2 cards, because it's like sometimes life has to shake us, break us, awaken us. The sand has to shift, the ground cracks below our feet. You know, we feel like we are not grounded or stable, and life circumstances don't feel that way. It is from that moment then we only have an option to rise, yeah? After we have sobbed and cried our final tear, after the last rain has fallen, after the storm has passed, there is a moment when we have a sigh of relief. There is a moment when the sun gets up, and that's what I'm feeling very symbolically. And it is because of that that helped you define what your wish fulfillment is. And I want you, there's probably like this 9-month story. Go back to the start of this year. You know, there's 9 new moons on each of these cups. You know, every single moment, every single new moon wish has sort of led you guys to here, to the 10 of Cups. Look at this, as above, so below. The 10 of Cups represents deep emotional fulfillment. There's something here where I feel like many of you guys are really emotionally fulfilled by your station in life, where you are going after this deep investment in you, about your own resourcefulness. And yeah, sure, there could be money there. There could be amazing financial opportunities, and you can see the start of that, the growing of that, the beginning of that. But it's more so about this self-fulfillment in self. And when it's about being resourceful for self, we get to discover exactly who we can be for us outside of whatever circumstances in our life. Doesn't matter how much we think we're relying on something, a job, a relationship. We can really get comfortable in old storylines, but when life wants to change and awaken us, you know, sometimes we just have to sort of go with that little raft boat and see where it leads us, or we can decide to direct it ourselves. Yeah, Libra? Alrighty, wow, I could talk forever. That was your quick read for the week beginning October the 4th. I have relaunched personal reading sessions, Libra. If you would like to book one, you can find that shop link in the bio above. Until next week, my friend, have an empowered week and take care.